There are many ways to let your creative side thrive. The Youth Documentary Academy strives to help young people tell their stories. In this week's Give, Executive Director Tom will share more of what they do and how it helps bring the community together. Good morning, Tom.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Youth Documentary Academy. You've been around for a dozen years. You're impacting the next generation. You're fueling young people's lives. Big picture, what's your mission? Because you're doing great things for the community.
I appreciate that. I grew up here in the Springs in the late 80s, and if you were interested in being a professional filmmaker, you basically had two options. You could go to California or New York, and I did. I went to the Bay Area, and I've had a film company there for many years. But I think 12 years ago, started to work with some local filmmakers, educators. Could we level the playing field geographically and create one of these elite media arts and film arts academies right here in Southern Colorado?
Has the dream lived up to reality from a dozen years ago when you moved out here from California to Colorado? We're so glad you did. You made a right choice.
It sure has. Young people, I think, are stepping forward in ways that certainly when I was their age, technologically wasn't happening. And so we train young people in kind of all aspects of filmmaking, so that's lights and camera and sound, but we also really focus on storytelling. How might you be an access point to story? And then give the time to let people kind of transpose those personal stories into high impact films.
You, your colleagues, and the next generation have come up with this amazing series, Our Time. Tell me about it, because it really is captivating.
A few years in, our colleagues over at Rocky Mountain PBS said, you know, these are really strong films, they're winning awards, they're going to film festivals. Let's curate a TV series and put it on statewide in Colorado. So we did that in 2020, and a year later, American Public Television, APT in Boston, acquired the show. So now our series, Our Time, broadcasts on 82% of PBS stations nationwide.
Yeah, we've got some footage on the screen right now of the work the kids did. What advice do you have for aspiring filmmakers? I mean, I'm in the TV news business where everything's kind of quick, you know, 3.5-minute packages, 4-minute segments, but when you're working with documentaries and film, you need that big, broad vision, correct?
Yeah, and I think, you know, filmmaking by nature is collaborative. So finding filmmakers whose work maybe you respect, filmmakers, film directors, producers, they need interns, they need young people that they can sort of mentor and also get the kind of hands-on experience. I didn't go to film school myself, but I learned by making a film and hiring people who had more experience than I did. And that's kind of our model in YDA.
Yeah, and it's one of these fields where you just need to do it to learn. You know, like reading a textbook and regurgitating this information really isn't going to help you. You need hands-on experience from veterans like yourself. Speaking of veterans like yourself, you're hosting weekly kind of seminars every Wednesday called these refocus groups. What are these all about?
So every Wednesday night at the Southern Colorado Public Media Center, which is where Rocky Mountain PBS and KRCC have their offices, we screen a new episode of our series. Cool. And so last night we kicked it off. All Wednesdays in June you can come free, just come over to the center. But what I've found is that, especially right now, the national discourse can kind of sometimes feel a little loud and toxic, and the meanest voice wins. What our young people are doing are listening really carefully. And by creating a film, adults are listening to them, and that's a pretty cool thing.
How can the community get involved? How can the next generation kind of sign up and be a potential filmmaker?
So first go to pbs.org, and if you type in Our Time, you can actually watch episodes that have aired in our season 1 and season 2. And the other thing is we love to go into schools. We organize film festivals in most of the high schools right now, so there are plenty of volunteer opportunities to help our kids show their films and get their stories out.
Yeah, I know the Pueblo Film Festival wasn't too long ago, and there was a lot of high schoolers involved in that. Did you know all about that?
I sure did. We actually got invited down there. Our students showed some of their films. Rocky Mountain Women's Film, which is the longest running women's film festival, is right here in Colorado Springs. They're constantly showing our films. So there are more and more avenues, which I find very heartening as an older person now.
Yeah,
so.
It is amazing what high schoolers are doing right now, isn't it? Like I was getting like an orthodontist appointment like after school. These kids are making films. It really is incredible.
Well, and I would say also they're breaking silence around a lot of issues that adults sometimes have a difficult time talking about. Mental health, for instance. Many of our kids will make films about issues that actually kind of destigmatize the conversations around mental health or suicide, those kinds of issues that can feel a little delicate. There's something about this venue of documentary that opens the door to create just conversations, and in a kind of a non-threatening way.
And what's the website? Maybe somebody just wants to make a monetary donation to fuel this next generation, Tom.
Youthdocumentary.org.
It's that simple. Wednesday nights, where's the address one more time?
It's 720 North Tejon at the Southern Colorado Public Media Center. Wednesdays, 6 to 8 p.m. through June. We'd love to have you come. You'll get to meet our current students, and you'll get to see past students who do Q&A after the show. So.
Hey, thanks for being a great ambassador for the community, Tom.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for having us, Dustin.
Filmmakers, they're really, really important. If you know a youth that could benefit from the Youth Documentary Academy, learn more about what they've got going on by visiting the website on the bottom of your screen. We'd also like to thank Give Pikes Peak for bringing us this segment.